If you want to manage multiple accounts at the same time on Roblox or even other platforms like TikTok or Reddit without these websites randomly logging you out, getting disconnected every 5 seconds, or without the fear of being falsely banned, today in this video I'm going to show you guys the best method that no one is talking about to manage and run multiple Roblox accounts or accounts on any platform in 2026 without being put at risk. But first, we need a way to manage all of our accounts. If you've ever logged into multiple accounts on the same Wi-Fi in the same device, Roblox can tell that they're connected. That's when you start getting bombarded with Captchas, disconnects, or in some cases even account ban. An anti-detect browser like GoLogin, the sponsor of today's video, solves this by creating fully separate browser profiles, each with its own fingerprint cookies and, with a proxy, IP, making every account look like a different device and person. And just for you guys, I got an exclusive link that you can use in the description below to get 2 GB of free proxies, which is all we'll need for this tutorial. Now, let's set up properly, step by step. First, go to GoLogin and create an account. You can find the link in the description on our blog, which is where all our resources will be for this video. I recommend signing up using your Google account just for convenience since it's quicker, but a standard email signup works fine too. Once you're inside the dashboard, you might be tempted to just use the web version because it's right here and ready to go. However, don't. The web version is fine for browsing use cases, but if you actually want to have smooth integration with the Roblox client and reliable multi-instance launching, you will need the desktop application. Head on over to the download section inside GoLogin, which is also on our blog, and choose the version that matches your operating system. Windows if you're on Windows, Mac if you're on Mac. Download it, run the installer, and complete the installation. It's a pretty straightforward install, just make sure to follow the prompts. Once it's installed and you open it for the first time, it will prompt you to log in. Make sure you log into the exact same GoLogin account you just created online. That might sound obvious, but people mess this up constantly by creating a second account by accident. When GoLogin opens, you'll see the main dashboard. This is where all of your isolated browser profiles are going to live. Think of this dashboard as your account manager. Every Roblox account you want to run gets its own profile here, and each profile is its own sealed off environment that nothing else on your computer can interfere with. Now we're going to create your Roblox profile. Click Add Profile at the top of the dashboard in the top right. The first thing it will ask you is a profile name. Use the Roblox username of the account you plan to log into this profile. Do not use something generic like Account 1 or Profile A, because once you're managing like 4, 5, 6 accounts simultaneously, that naming system breaks down immediately and you will log the wrong account into the wrong profile. So please name it after your username. After naming the profile, you'll see several configuration sections open up. The first one is the overview settings, which controls your operating system profile and basic environment setup. Here's something important though. Keep the operating system matching the real one that you're using. If you're on Windows, please just select Windows. And again, if you're on Mac, select Mac. A lot of people think they should randomize everything to be as unpredictable as possible, but that logic backfires. If you're on Windows and your profile is suddenly reporting a macOS environment, that inconsistency is itself a signal. Consistency is safer than randomness, so match your real OS and then leave it. Next, click on the Proxy section inside the profile settings. This is one of the most critical steps in the entire process, so pay attention. To explain briefly, a proxy acts as a server between your computer and the internet. When you connect through a proxy on a website, it sees the IP address of the proxy server. This is what separates your accounts geographically. Without proxies, every single profile that you create, no matter how isolated the fingerprint, is still coming from the same IP address. And multiple accounts logging in from one IP is one of the clearest signals that something unusual is likely happening. If you're using the 2 GB free proxy from the link in the description, select the proxy option provided and paste in the proxy details. Choose a country that makes sense for your account's typical behavior. So for example, if you're primarily an English-speaking person who plays on North American servers, choose the United States or Canada. Do not pick something exotic like Eastern Europe or Southeast Asia just because it seems more anonymous. It won't help you, and it could actually increase friction during login because Roblox's systems are more likely to challenge logins coming from unusual geographic regions for a given account. Once you've entered the proxy details, click Check Proxy before doing anything else. Wait for the confirmation that the proxy is active and working. Do not skip this step and assume that it's fine. A dead or misconfigured proxy means your account is going to be logging in from your real IP address, which kind of defeats the whole purpose of using GoLogin. And one more thing on proxies, do not reuse the same proxy across multiple profiles. Each account should have its own dedicated proxy. If two accounts share a proxy, they share an IP address, and the isolation that you've built with the fingerprinting is meaningless. One proxy per account. That's the rule. But you might also learn later that you won't always need to do that. After the proxy is configured, let's move to the extensions section. If you use Roblox enhancement extensions on the website, like RoGold or RoPro, this is where you can install them inside this specific profile. And if you don't use any Roblox extensions or just don't care at all, you can just skip this entirely. Once everything looks correct, so the name matches the account, the operating system matches your real system, the proxy is active and verified, and any extensions that you want are installed, that's when we can click Create Profile at the bottom left. Then now all we have to do is just click Run. A new browser window will open up that looks like a standard Google Chrome window. This is your isolated environment. And just to quickly show you guys that GoLogin isn't just for Roblox, I'm going to log into a completely different platform inside of this profile. For example, here's Facebook. If I log into a Facebook account here, it will treat it as a completely separate device with its own fingerprint and IP address. I could create another profile inside of GoLogin and log into a completely different Facebook account, a different TikTok account, a different YouTube channel, and they would all remain isolated from each other. So again, this isn't just for Roblox. GoLogin is meant for managing multiple accounts on any platform seamlessly. But anyways, let's head to roblox.com and log into the account that belongs to this profile. Make sure you guys take your time during the initial login. Do not rush it. And if you are immediately hit with aggressive captchas on the first login attempt, like I am, here's a trick that works in most cases. Head back on over to GoLogin, and then let's go inside of our quick profile settings, and let's just temporarily disable our proxy. And then now let's just try re-logging back into our Roblox account. And then once you're actually in, go back into your profile settings, and then re-enable the same proxy that you used. The reason that this works is that first-time logins from a fresh proxy IP can trigger additional verification steps. Once the account has an established session inside of the GoLogin profile and the cookies are set, the proxy becomes far less likely to cause friction, as you can clearly see right now. After we've logged in successfully, we'll just make sure we've re-enabled the proxy, and now let's continue on normally by heading back over to GoLogin and adding our additional Roblox accounts that we want to use. Instead of building every profile from scratch, there's actually a smarter way to do this. Hover over your existing profile in the GoLogin dashboard, click the three dots on the right side, and then click this button that says Clone. This will create an exact duplicate of the profile with same fingerprint configuration, same OS settings, most likely same proxy, same everything. This is actually the correct approach because you want your profiles to look like different devices, but not wildly different devices, by choosing a bunch of different random countries, etc., etc. A natural spread of fingerprint variation is more convincing than completely randomized profiles that have no consistent pattern. After cloning, rename the new profile to the second Roblox account's username, so I'll just do Macro Roblox 2. Click Save, then make sure to head back, going into the Proxies section of our new cloned profile, and swap the proxy to a different one. Remember the device from earlier though. Again, different proxy for every account, no exceptions. Then we don't need to save it because I use the quick profile settings, but if you are in the actual settings, make sure to click save, and then let's launch it again, head back to roblox.com, and then log into the corresponding Roblox account. If you need to disable the proxy again, make sure to do so. Now all you have to do is just repeat this process for every account that you want to manage inside of GoLogin. At this point, you have multiple isolated Roblox environments running from just one computer, each with its own fingerprint and its own IP address. But however, we still need to solve the multi-instance problem, because Roblox's standard client is designed to only run one instance at a time. If you try to open a second Roblox game while one is already running, the client usually just hijacks the existing session like it has right here, or just blocks the second launch entirely. So to solve this issue on top of GoLogin, we're going to be using Fishstrap. Fishstrap is a modified Roblox bootstrapper that replaces the standard launcher for Roblox and adds several features that the default version doesn't support. The most important feature obviously being the multi-instance launching. So for us to download Fishstrap, make sure you guys head to the blog in the description below and then scroll down to see the Fishstrap section. Make sure you click download, install it, and then now here is where most people mess up, so listen closely. Once Fishstrap is installed and open, go to the settings menu. Make sure you're in the integration section and then just scroll down all the way to the bottom until you see under miscellaneous, allow multi-instance launching. Turn this on. This is the setting that actually unlocks the ability for us to run multiple Roblox accounts at the same time on one machine with the help of GoLogin. Without this, even with everything else configured correctly, your second client will fail to launch or will terminate the first one. Now here's how we're going to put it all together and actually run everything simultaneously. Let's return to GoLogin and make sure we launch our first profile. Make sure you're logged into Roblox, and then now let's just click on any game. When you click play, it should prompt you to open up an external application. If the prompt doesn't appear for you, or if it says it can't find the application, open Fishstrap manually by searching for it in your operating system and confirm that it's running inside of the background. You can usually see it in your bottom taskbar thing. And make sure you guys click save and launch when you make any changes to Fishstrap so that it actually does work. So then now when I click play, I should see open Fishstrap as a prompt. Once Fishstrap is active and the game launched successfully for the first account, go back to GoLogin and then we can now launch our second profile. Log in, and then let's click play, and then let Fishstrap handle the second instance. If everything is configured correctly, you'll now have two completely separate Roblox clients running simultaneously, each tied to a different account, and each operating from a completely different IP address, and each with a different browser fingerprint. At this point, the only real limitation that you might encounter becomes your hardware, in specific, likely your RAM, because the more accounts that you run, the more system memory that you'll use. If your system starts lagging, that's actually not a detection issue. That's just how computers work, unfortunately. If a game fails to launch from any of your profiles, what I'd recommend doing is going inside of GoLogin and disabling your proxies. Proxies are good and we want them on, however, if they're interfering, temporarily disable them. Some proxies just have compatibility issues with the client handoff process. And once you do have the game running and you have that figured out, make sure to re-enable the proxy, or you can leave it disabled for that session, and just ensure that the browser profile itself stays isolated from the rest of the other profiles so that it doesn't affect your accounts and then gets you banned. Now let's talk about what actually kills accounts long term, because this part is the most important, because this is the part most tutorials actually just completely ignore, and it's the most important section of this entire video. The software itself is only half of the equation. The other half is behavior. And most people who get flagged after doing all this correctly is likely because of how they're acting, not their configuration. So here are a list of things that I recommend you never ever do when trying out these methods. Do not randomly log in and out of multiple accounts within the same span of a few minutes. Even if each account is coming from a different IP address and a different fingerprint, rapid sequential logins across many platforms still form a pattern that automated systems can detect. So it's very important to space out your logins and act like a real person, sitting down just to play a game, not like an automated robot script cycling through accounts. Number 2, do not switch the proxy country on the same account between sessions. If account A logged in yesterday from a United States IP address, and then suddenly today it's logging from a German IP address, that's a geographic inconsistency that gets flagged. Pick a country for each account and then just stay there. Stability looks human. Inconsistency looks automated. Number 3, do not log into the same account from both GoLogin and regular Chrome. This is a major mistake. The moment you log into an account from your normal browser with your real fingerprint and then your real IP, while that same account also has an active session inside of a GoLogin profile, you've just linked these two environments together in Roblox's session data. So it's very important to keep each account exclusively inside its assigned GoLogin profile. Never cross the streams. Do not use free proxies from random proxy list websites. These are shared by thousands, and I mean thousands, of users, and they're most likely already flagged by most platforms, and on top of that, they're just generally unreliable. Either use the default GoLogin proxy in the link in the description, or you can invest in a reputable residential or data center proxy service. Is not the place to cut corners. Do not ignore repeated Captchas and just brute force through login attempts. If one of your accounts is consistently getting hammered with Captchas, that is a signal. Stop, diagnose the issue, which is usually most likely a proxy problem or a fingerprint mismatch, Fix it, and then try again. Hammering through Captchas repeatedly flags the account faster than almost literally anything else. The secret to running multiple Roblox accounts long term isn't just the software that you use. It's the discipline on how you operate them. Keep environments consistent, keep IP addresses stable, let each account breathe and behave naturally, log in, play, and then log out. Don't make sudden changes. And also, don't mix environments. And also, don't get lazy about the setup just because it's working. Because the moment that you cut a corner, that's usually the moment something gets flagged. If you followed everything in this video step by step, the GoLogin setup, the fingerprint configuration, the proxies, the Fishstrap integration, and the behavioral guidelines, you now have a system that is genuinely built to last. Fully isolated Roblox accounts running simultaneously, none of them linked to each other. Again, if you want to get the 2 GB free proxies, click my link in the description below and claim them for free by also using the promo code MacRolo. Subscribe if we helped as always, and I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial.